All right. So I want to talk about the music uh, sphere and sphere rather. I'm sorry, music sphere, um, and uh, what music was supposed to be, and what that in times past. That's what minstrels and others used to do. They would put music and voice to tell people the wrongs in their society, the stuff that was being taken and done by those of the nobility. They were the first class warriors, the class fighters, and in modern times we still have some of these people. Papa Roach, Rage Against the Machine, Korn also does this. We even have some people that are in the pop scene who do this. But you know they are quickly pushed out and relegated to just doing small crowds. And meanwhile, the music and entertainment section have a tendency to push in more raw and animalistic material, which doesn't inform, which preys on on being being animalistic and carnal and all the things that we are supposedly supposed to be morally against it. Now that being animalistic is not supposed to be something that we aspire to. We are supposed to want to go beyond that. That's why we have words like love and ethics and morals and all that other stuff. And yet, you have Rihanna, who's basically preaching the animalistic. You have Kanye West, and you got what's her name? Who used to be on the Black Eyed Peas. I forget the her name. And she can't sing for shit. Um, but that's the thing. It's like because you got electronics, you can mixing boards and so on and so forth, and all these other stuff that can basically make somebody who can't carry a tune amount of water bucket. They make it look like they're great. Uh, Occasionally, even those that do it, they that are in the pop scene that are big, the big ones. Justin Timberlake. He's the same thing. He does the same crap. They don't inform with their music. But don't get me wrong, because even in the heavy metal and hard rock scene, they do this. They also have the same crap. Promote the animalistic. Uh, Promote the worst qualities, and those are the ones that are being pushed. The ones that want to be that inform, that are taking things from their lives, from their observations, and they're putting it to words and lyrics and music are being shoved out. Uh, but it doesn't matter what your skin color is and so on and so forth. It's all that. You know, there are videos about how hip hop has been so influential and so on and so forth. And you got social media platforms talking about it and so on and so forth. But it's like half the time you hear them. What it is just it's just a lot of boom and beat, but the same damn word over said over and over and over and over, and basically it's like 90% of it. It's like saying and with music over and over and over, a beat in music over and over. How is that informing? How is that is that revolutionary or innovative? It isn't. I agree that hip hop can have an impact, can inform, but that's not what's being promoted. You know, I saw one on Democracy Now. I saw it on other. It's like, and how is that informative? How is that elevating our emotional and intellectual and and ethical and moral values? It isn't. You know, and they talk about ridiculous numbers. I mean, in the millions of people that you know that it's trending with. And it's like, think about it. I'm like, if I put a beat and music to and the whole thing is about that, me just repeating the word and, how is that going to elevate any of us? What is that informing? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And often you know, like there's a beat, but there's no connection. It just sounds off. So this is what I mean when I say that, you know, music is supposed to inform. It's supposed to activate us. It's supposed to inform us. This is what journalists are supposed to be doing. But we don't get that. And then there's the aspect of protest. Protests are great. They inform, but they never give any solutions. What protest sounds like, if I was a billionaire and I had control of politics and so on and so forth, what that is buzzing. That's all it is. And the other thing is oh, look at the peasants and serfs. They're asking for permission. You know, they're asking for favor. They're putting their hand out. And that's the same thing that they've promoted in the media. Basically, they look at us as homeless bums, putting out our hands. Please, give me some money. Listen to my sob story. But the thing is don't give out the sob story, inform, and give out solutions. Think. Because there's always an answer. Always. Take, for instance, what's happening now. We're getting robbed out in the open. They're not trying to hide it. They're doing it. We have right now over 10 million people who have just applied for unemployment. And that's going to turn out just like in 2008, where you have these criminal parasites who should be behind bars, except they're being elevated to positions in Washington, D.C. And they're getting control of how to allocate the trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars to whomever they please. So, what's going to end up happening is all these people that have just had to put for unemployment, all these people who've been promised $1,200, which probably won't appear, and if it does appear, it'll come way too late. You have lost your, you won't be able to pay your mortgage, and then you'll have a backlog of time where you couldn't pay your mortgage, or you've had to dip into your meager savings and resources to pay, and that $1,200 is just basically, you might as well have thrown it into the trash or burned it. And meanwhile, you have your medical costs, you have your food costs, you have your utility costs, you have all these other costs, and that money has just been tossed into a black hole, and that black hole leads to those whom we've granted legitimacy and power to. So we have to start thinking: how do we solve the situation? Jimmy Dore has been on fire. The Convo Couch has been on fire. They've been informative, and they're even giving avenues to enlighten us to think about solutions. Something I try to do with my videos. You know, they're talking about a general strike. I've been talking about it for a long time. I gave out solid ways and the reasons why. I said, stop paying your bills. Stop paying your taxes. Stop going to work. Stop doing everything. Come together as a community. Because the community is the country. It is solidarity. Share the resources. Grow your own food. Start community gardens. And just sit within your communities. Don't do anything. Because those people who currently have power, because we allowed them, because we used what they consider theirs, which is also the money that we rely on. Because of this, they will have to come. Because if you're not paying taxes, if you're not buying, if you're not going to work, then Where are they going to get the money? Where are they going to get that money to keep that power, to buy out the politicians, to make a system that works for them? They can't. They will have to come to us. But that's really not even a good solution. The best solution would be for us to, if your family member works on the police force, tell them walk off the job, take take everything, your guns, your bulletproof vests, your cruisers, and everything else. Just take them, bring them in to the community, and serve the community. Fuck the laws. You listen to the community. If your family member is in the National Guard, tell them do the same thing. If your family members are in the military, write them letters. Tell them to come home. Tell them to go give up the big middle finger and walk away. And and get all the others to do the same. And if the officers try to stop it, you tell them, no, we are the majority. You are a minority. And what we say goes, because we are Americans, because we are the rulers. We are the employers. We are the power. We are the government. That's how we should be doing this. We should be doing all that, and we should be as a community, we should be coming together and saying, those who want to serve, to be mediators within the community. So right now, Valley Township has a town manager. It's not a mayor. It's not somebody who's whom the community can go talk to. We have a manager. How is that different from being an employee of a corporation? An employee given the power to dictate what the corporations want. So it used to be in the old days that you had mayors or village chiefs or whatnot, and they would have their homes. They wouldn't have a town hall or a gubernatorial mansion or whatnot. What you would do is you would take the community to come together and talk to the mayor. So that's what we need to do, and we need to, as a community, say no. You're not getting our taxes. You're not getting any of that unless you come together and join the cooperative and do as the community wants and needs. Because that's what it comes down to. Our needs need to take precedence. And as a community, we should be promoting those who do the observation, who do the innovation, and so on and so forth. We should be pooling them as a community resource. We should be giving them the basic necessities and perhaps a few perks to continue to serve the community. If we want to, we should be building our own server farms in our communities and taking away the power of Google and Facebook, so that we have internet service within the community with Wi-Fi. We should be canceling our subscription, paid subscription to Comcast and Verizon and all those. These are solutions. These are solutions. And the people that want to serve as the community mediator, the community mediators should be going out to other communities and bringing them in to the collective, into a cooperative. Those are the solutions. That's how you rub out the criminals. A non-violent way. That's how you do it. You force those who grasp and claw for power and for money, and that's how you make them ineffectual. You create a separate community-based cooperative, not government, but a cooperative that works for the greater. And this is how we take back control. Not power, but control. This is how we serve each other. Because if you make them obsolete, then you can go back to, then we can go back to to the infrastructure and to the infrastructure and the physical buildings that we call government now. Then we can do it. But rather than electing congressmen and senators, what you have is the mayors, mediating mayors and the council in the community. They are what makes the state government, the state cooperative. And the same thing extended into the federal. That's how we get a cooperative that works for all of us. These are solutions. And that's how we do it. And once we get to that point, we make sure to put down rules and statutes and laws that understands that those who have been placed, who have been given the privilege to be the mediators and the servants of the greater community cannot use self-serving motives to promote themselves so that they can fulfill their immediate physical and material gains. That's how any community, because America, the U.S. is just one big community. And that community is a collection of us all. I've said it before. When you allow the criminals, the super criminals, the super predators, the ones who gain control of the media and everything else, to dictate, to narrate what is discussed, what is promoted, then we have nothing. We lose power. We lose control. We make ourselves into the very serfs and peasants that these super criminals, these super predators believe us to be. Because that's what it comes down to. They believe themselves to be the rulers. They believe themselves to be outside. They believe that we should do as they dictate. This is why we have insanity, even in the social media. In the social media news and the so-called mainstream news, is because these are the versions of the town criers, the ones spewing forth the dictates and wants and narratives of those who already believe that they deserve unwarranted our subjugation, self-subjugation to their will. Obsequience, that's what it is. They believe that we should be obsequious to them. That we should bow down and lay down and do as they want. You know, there's a recent thing done where I think it was Dr. Professor Wolf, the economist, who's got the he's become fairly big on the social media, but he points out about how there used to be a law back in the days of nobility where it was the first night. So you get married, but you couldn't have sex. You couldn't be the first one to have sex with your wife. It was the lord of the region who got first rights to do that. And this is what they want. So understand. And that's not something that that's a historical fact, a historical truth. So understand. If you want actual freedom, if you want actual liberty, if you actually want to stick to principled morality and ethics, then we need to implement solutions. We need to think. Because I keep saying, when we discriminate within the community, all that does is hand more power to those who want to be our overlords. And we grant it to them when we do not. When we do not tell them to go fuck off. Because it always is used against the ones the fake favor is placed. Always. There's that old saying, it comes back to bite you in the ass. Well, that's exactly what happens. Always. And this is a time where it shows how true that is. And that coming back to bite us in the ass is, most importantly, us, the collective, the community. It is not those who want to be in the ruling class who get bitten in the ass, who suffer the most, who keep getting less and less of the quote-unquote freedom and liberty that we all say we aspire to want. It's us. What is money in the face of something like First Night? Privilege is an illusion. When we think we have greater privilege because it's handed down by those in the ruling class, that's an illusion. It's temporary. It's ephemeral. It will always come back to bite us. Thank you for your time.